What insult was so mean that it permanently damaged your self-esteem? I'll start. When I was younger, an older friend that I used to look up to back then told me while we're having fun in a group, if could see yourself laugh, you would probably never laugh again. I'm still self-conscious about my laugh 10 years later. That makes me sad. If you could see yourself sad, you'd never get sad again. Wait, what? OMG, I love when people are enjoying themselves so much they let it all drop and laugh their weirdest, craziest laugh. A guy I know is the most reserved, serious, controlled person, but every once in a while I get him to laugh at something and it's the craziest, high-pitched, barking, braying noise, and his face gets all weird and he bends at this weird angle. It's my favorite thing he does. I can never say anything because I know he'll take it the wrong way and be self-conscious, but those few seconds he just lets himself be himself are so perfect to me. I think you love this guy. It's your fault your mother's in hospital. She had tried to kill herself. I was 6? Thanks, Dad. Your dad is a duck. Source: I'm a suicide widow and I truly hope that you know it was never your fault. It's your fault your mother's in the hospital. Oh no. She had to kill herself. Oh crap. I was 6? What the hell? Thanks, Dad. I had an awful stepmother. Her and my dad locked me in my room aside from school with nothing but a sleeping bag for 2 years. Changed the doorknob on my door so it locked on the outside. She would bring me my dinner, set it on the floor and say, "Here doggy doggy." It ruined me in every way. Jesus Christ, I wasn't ready for that. I feel like this thread is going to be depressing. Same. People can be real assholes. Locking a child in a room with only a sleeping bag and calling them a doggy when you feed them on the floor is quite a bit worse than being an asshole. Psychopathic child torturer that should have been prosecuted and jailed would be a better description in my opinion. Seriously, both of them shouldn't be anywhere near any children and be convicted of child abuse. The police wants to know her location. Pretty much my whole family, aside of my mother, really hated me from a young age. One of my uncles has 2 kids older than me and my aunt also 2 kids, one younger, one same age. They all had problems with their kids. Either drugs, violence or some other shit. 2 years before I graduated from school my uncle bitched about that I will also learn soon where my place is. I never did bad in school, but his kids had to repeat classes multiple times. I graduated eventually before one of his sons even though he was 3 years older. From that day onwards he was either ignoring me or spitting really nasty insults in my direction when nobody else listened. When both of my grandparents got sick with cancer, I decided to move to in their house and care for them before and after my work. I grew up with my grandparents until I was 15 because my mother was a single mom and worked in shifts. So it felt like the right thing to do. But my uncle didn't have any of it. Even though he lived basically next to them, he never even visited them. Only if he needed something. One day he drove by the house when I was outside mowing. He stopped, got out of his car right into my face, and told me then and there that he will kill me and my mother if I even think about stealing his heritage from my grandparents. And also that I'm worthless and I should watch my back from now on. I endured years of insults from him and later my aunt as well, because I was the one with a good paying job and I somehow also managed to look after my grandparents, while their kids were basically doing nothing. After my grandmother died in 2011 I completely broke down what the OFC used to their advantage. I had multiple breakdowns during that time and developed depression. I couldn't work for months because of them. I still feel really insecure and had to rebuild my self-esteem from ground up over the years. But sometimes the self-doubt comes through again and I really need to try not breaking down again. and thoughts after I moved to a different country and didn't see them for 6 years now. Before my grandfather died in 2018, I visited him in the hospital. This was the first time that he told me that he knew exactly what my uncle and aunt did to me, but he realized it way too late. Me and my mother inherited everything from him. The house, his land, and a big chunk of money. The rest only got the minimum. I am not sure if I am eligible to comment on these topics as I am only an HS, but I can say that karma got them and gave the best to you. Hope you are doing well now. I do. I live in an apartment twice the size of their houses, have a job I love and friends around me who accept me for what I am. Moving away, even though I had to leave my mother and dog behind, was the best thing that could have happened. Happy to hear that you're doing well now. When I told my father I wanted to come home to the family property and work on it, and he said that was not going to happen. He said that he had 2 useful sons to run the property. Why would he want a useless daughter to be involved? The irony is that my brothers were given the family farm and lost it. I was given nothing and now have my own farm. Had a neighboring farm that the 2 sons took over when their dad died. The 2 sons took out nearly $800K of loans so they could buy new cars, tractors, equipment etc. for each of them. Came to seeding time and they needed to buy seed. Bank wouldn't lend them any more money, so they lost the farm. All happened within 9 months. How much do seeds cost? Depends on where you are and what you plant. $50 to $100 an acre is about the going rate, I believe, depending on what you are growing. Could be higher or lower. You're poor, you? And why is your lunch so smelly, dog eater? Yeah, I grew up not super wealthy like other kids, being first generation with immigrant parents. It really hurt. I hated eating the lunches my mom made while other kids ate Lunchables and prepackaged foods or bought food from the cafeteria. Looking back, I shouldn't have been ashamed given my mom was making really nice bentos. So I'd forego eating lunch almost every day. I'd eat maybe a small bag of chips since that was cheap to get. To this day I don't really eat lunch. A girl from my class looked at me and said, "You're really ugly." Thanks, you too. I wish I was that clever back in the day. I wasn't bullied, but I got in some heated arguments, and sometimes I got left with no words. Chess helps more than you think. You're disgusting. No one will ever love you and you will die alone. Love, Mom. I say this to myself every day. Still proving that facts are wrong. My 2nd grade teacher the day after I came back to school from being sick, "The class was better without you in it." In 2nd fucking grade? Damn, right? I still think about that and feel that people maybe are having more fun better off without me. I'm in my 30s. From one internet voice to another, I do truly wish you the best. Ha. Thanks. I think I'll survive the trauma, lol. Wish you the best too though. Don't let that bother you. People who insult others usually do it from an angle of fear, insecurity, and jealousy. My ex and I had a common friend. When we were still dating, he told our friend, "She's like a puppy." Our friend confided this info to me. I thought it was a good thing until he said that he added, "You can do whatever you want and say whatever you want and she'll still be happy to see you." My forgiving personality was taken for granted. My God, that's bad. Taking advantage of the forgiving nature of somebody like that is such a fucked up thing to do. Hope you found somebody that treats you nicely. Also, don't change. I think the world needs more people who are able to forgive, even if it means getting hurt every now and then. Your Minecraft house looks like shit, still hurts till this day. My friends told me this one day. I was sad but didn't take it so seriously. One day, I went away to find Ender eyes, and when I got back they burned my house to the ground. That made me start a war that ended in the destruction of our entire kingdom. We used a lot of TNT. When they all left the world for good, I built a castle and a throne on the mountain that overlooked the ashes of our creations. Currently I'm rebuilding what was once our home. I was kind of a fat kid, and my brother used to bully me a lot about it. And I feel like everyone thought of me back then as just that nerdy fat kid. Now, I'm slightly on the chubbier side, but I still feel like I'm fat. I'm also self-conscious about my smile and the way I laugh because one kid in middle school did an impression of it as a joke, and it stuck with me. I'm also insecure about my voice, because I was very lonely in high school. I barely spoke to anyone, so I kinda think my voice sounds weird, and that I have a weird way of speaking. No insult on that last part, but I overheard once that a girl told a teacher in high school like, yeah, he has a trouble with speaking. He kinda speaks oddly, which just cemented my insecurity. When I was in school I was often called a garden gnome, because I was short and fat, I guess. I never forgot that. I remember seeing a picture on someone's Facebook of me in a crowd, and someone had wrote "look in the back." Found the gnome it hurt, because I was never even mean to these kids, but they hated me enough to do that. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe.